This is how I got a total of 3 billion of resources in less than 24 hours. So I recently got a large amount of resources lately, from 200 million to now over 3 billion in total. And all of that comes from my farm account. Each has around 150 million of food and wood, 100 million of stone, and 75 million of gold. And I have 6 farms here in 3609. So that is how I got this total of resources. So how did I do that? What exactly is a farm account? First, let's switch to one of my farm account. So here we are with one of my farm account. It is at 5.5 million of power and City Hall level 22. It is at level 22 because that City Hall is where that 5th March is going to be unlocked. There are 4 more resources gathered, but ultimately I want to upgrade it to City Hall level 24, but we will talk about that later. The idea of a farm account is to gather resources as much as you can and transfer that resources to your main account. And that's basically the idea of a farm account. And you probably have a lot of questions. And let me answer that too. The first question that you probably have in mind is, do you really need a farm account? Sadly, the answer to that is yes. If you want to achieve something in this game, be it kill points or gaining power, especially in the early stages, resources will be crucial and it will be needed 100%. Healing troops requires resources. Training troops also needs resources. Upgrading building and research needs resources. Almost everything that you will do will require it, and sadly gathering on your main will never be enough. You can refer to my previous research account where the biggest problem that I had is the lack of resources to continue upgrading power. I was given a lot from Xian and others from 3777, but ultimately it's still not enough. And I was really thankful for that, and maybe I could have asked more, but I don't really want to bother them anymore. And really the problem is not having my farms. Having to play 2 accounts that is both free to play is really taxing and so time consuming. And I couldn't sustain it anymore, and that is why I left that account and decided to focus on my main, which is also in KVK that time. And speaking of KVK, on my previous KVK 4, I spent a total of 6 billion of resources, and that is a lot, right? There is no way I can gather that amount alone in this account. I actually only gathered a total of 5 billion of resources in the 400 days plus of playing. And in just 50 days of playing in KVK 4, I spent 6 billion. And I was able to do that thanks to my farm account. So as you can see from that, resources is pretty much needed and the game actually revolves around it. And one way for us free-to-play or low spender to catch up is to make farm accounts. So how many farms do you really need? And the answer to that varies. Right now I have 6. I think it is enough for now. If you are in preparation season, you need a minimum of 2 farm accounts to upgrade your power in the right time. As long as you are sending your gatherers 3 or 4 times a day, I think you will be fine with 2. Although my suggestion for this is actually 4. 4 farms in preparation season up to KVK 1 is the perfect amount of farms that you can get for free to play or low spenders. Each will be focus gathering with single resources type. So what do I mean by that? So for example, this Firefly Farm 1 will only gather food, while Firefly Farm 2 will only gather wood, and Firefly Farm 3 will only gather stone, and Firefly Farm 4 will only gather gold. And that is actually fine until KVK 1 since you are upgrading your building, research, and training. Wall requires a lot of stone, City Hall needs a lot of food and wood, and research needs gold. So that will be a good thing to do for farms. Although after doing that, you may want to shift your focus depending on your troop type. Because when KVK comes, healing is where you will spend most of your resources. For example, if you are playing infantry, you will only spend food, wood, and a little bit of gold if you are tier 4, and a ton of gold if you are a tier 5. Same concept if you are playing cavalry. You will need food, stone, and gold, and for archer you will need wood, stone, and gold. So shift your focus according to that. Also, this is only for 1 or 2 marches, so if you add more march, You will also need to increase the amount of farms that you have. So now that you know that you need a farm account and how many you need, you are probably wondering how to make a farm account. If not, you can skip to the next part. I'll make sure to put the timestamp in the description or comment down below. So making farm accounts. The best time to make farm account is the same time as you create your main account. I know it is time consuming and a little bit of a hassle, but the sooner you make it, the better. Why? Helps are pretty easy to get at the start of the kingdom. You can progress your farm into a better state faster that way. And what I mean by that is getting at least City Hall level 11 as soon as you can, so that you can unlock your third march. City Hall level 17 will probably be the best spot early on, as you can have 4 march and it is not that costly to upgrade them, as getting to City Hall level 22 will be expensive, especially on the early game. Only do them when you already got your main into like City Hall level 24 or level 25. So just create the account on the same kingdom, and just a tip, you can only create 2 characters in the same kingdom under the same account. So if you want to make more, you will have to either make a new email or create in the neighboring kingdom and migrate it in the same kingdom using passports, just like how these 4 farms got into the same kingdom. And also, instead of making China as the starting civilization for your farm, mostly suggest France, as you can get Joan of Arc, but for me, it doesn't really matter that much. I always go for Britain for my farms in early game so I can get Boudica and get this talent tree, since I always do lower trial in my farms also, and getting extra resources from this talent will be really helpful. But yeah, it's not that big of a deal for your starting civilization. Next is, what City Hall level should my farm be? At early game, I suggest leave them at City Hall level 17 and slowly upgrade them to City Hall level 22. Make sure that you are supplying your main account enough so your progress will not be hindered. So City Hall level 17 to 22 early game. And as you get more into KVK2, KVK3 or Season of Conquest, you might want to make them at City Hall level 24. Level 24 only, okay? You might be asking why. First is, if you make it to City Hall level 25, your kingdom will require you to make that farm account to be a feeler. Feeler is basically filling rallies and garrison with tier 4 troops. If you can do that, sure, and I'm just letting you know so that you are aware. You might be also asking why make them at level 24 when I can just stay at level 22, right? Well, you also want to upgrade your trading post to level 24 so it will be faster to transfer resources, as you will be transferring 4 million over 3 million at level 22. And also the tax rate will become lower. As you can see here, the tax rate for level 24 is 10% and for level 22 it is 4%. It is not that much, right? But as you play longer, it will be a lot. In early game, sure, you can stay at level 22. But as you play longer, you want to make that to level 24. Let's say you are transferring 5 billion of resources. That amount of resources lost is about 200 million. And as you play and transfer more, it will accumulate. You can do level 25 for lesser tax and faster transfer, as it will transfer 10 million%. But again, just letting you know that you will be required as a feeler. And since you have come this far into this video, I will show you some tips on how to get more bonus resources. And first is from KVK. It is from the past Glory event stage 3, in where you will donate your sculpture in exchange of Hero Medallion. And you want to exchange that to resources that you can see here. As you can see, I only bought around 5,000 since I have been really lazy on my farms lately. And if you regularly do your dailies, which by the way is easy and fast to do, you will get more. And if you manage to buy all, that's 100 million of food or wood, 75 million of stone, or 30 million of gold. And that's from each of them. If you have 10 farms and do manage to buy everything, that's easily 1 billion of food. For me, I got 6 farms and all I got is gold, since that is what I needed the most right now. Another one is the Melon event. in where you will get a lot of resources. This event gives 100 million of food and wood, 75 million of stone, and 50 million of gold, if I'm not mistaken, and it is fairly easy to do. You just have to log in every day to claim the melon in your city and stole melon from your friends, from your alliance members, and make sure to sell them on the highest amount of stole that you have or you can see in the chat. Also, aside from sending gatherers, you can do your dailies for more gems and golden keys that will be used for getting sculptures that you can donate later in KVK. So I think that's it for farm account, and that is how I got so much resources in such a short period of time. Our goal for Pass 7 and Kingsland should be at least 1.5 billion of gold and 3 billion of food and wood. On stone we are pretty much okay, and I think that's enough. We will see if we can achieve that. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.